Hello everyone, welcome back to Cashew time. Now this video will be a little bit different from my other ones because I'm not actually building anything here. Instead, I'll be taking you on a journey through the progress of my 2-year-old world. And because there's so much content there, it will be longer. We're going to be going through not just the creations of the 7 videos that I've made so far, but also the lore behind them and some never seen before details. And unlike the other videos, most of it will be from my point of view, touring the world. So get a snack, take a bathroom break, and settle in for a synopsis of the first 2 years of One Musky Boy's world. We're going on a world tour. This is world spawn. The idea was that I could mark it out. I could like maybe use some kind of world eater and make an island floating in the middle here. I don't know. I had some ideas. Somewhere in this region is where I spawned in for the first time over 2 years ago. Oh, well, this is new. All right, I'm seeing. Oops. Oh god. The first block I ever broke was a spruce log. These are the coordinates of the first tree I ever broke, which I still have in my museum. Now, because my hardware was so bad back then, I actually lost most of the early footage to a file corruption. All the clips that I have for the really early days here have to come from the video that I made back then. These actually all started back in version 1.18, so the game looked a little different then. You know, we're getting into the story of my world. 2 years of this world that I've promptly named Cashew time. That's my favorite snack. So being a long-standing fan of Planner's lightly salted cashew halves and pieces, I named my world Cashew time. So yep, spawned in here. I went that way. I started zooming, walking around, almost died in a little cave somewhere around here because of a zombie. I kept going this way. This is west. And then I stumbled upon this village. Regular plains. Love that. We're in a village. Ooh. Nope, mine. You are going nowhere, little guy. And of course, none of these things are here either. I'll get to those in a minute. I've still got these chests here from some of my first tools. Yeah, these are like some artifacts from the past 2 years ago. This was back in 2022. Yeah, so much has changed since then. Yeah, you can see some of my earlier villagers here. Some that I trapped here that are still stuck here forever. I didn't have a very good pillager breeder, so I just I stuck them in here. I kept growing wheat, making bread, and throwing it to them.
Make that child. Make that child.
And I had like a little mine over here. That's over here. Yeah, mining's not a big thing anymore. Now, I am something of a collector. I am dedicated to archiving a lot of information about my world. I didn't do it all that well because the first villager I ever like traded with died in here. Yeah, I got these little like stations where I was keeping them in. Yeah, a zombie just got to him before I could save him. Tragic. It was early days. I had a laptop. I was not doing great with CPU stuff. A little bit of information, a little bit of remnants of my early world over here. Not all that interesting. So we'll go to the archive that I've built in what is going to be a museum. So I have this bizarre habit of every time I find a new item, I try to separate it from a different stack of that same item because that's like the first that I get of that item, and I want to distinguish it as being the first. And so I have this place over here where I try really hard to actually do that for everything. Oh, we're lagging. Ugh. But this is an ancient city, a place with a lot of lore, I guess. So over here, we have like the first crafting table and first furnace I ever made. Like I said, I keep them in separate boxes to make sure I don't ever mix them up with anything. We have the first of each wood type that I ever held. This block right here is the first block I ever broke in this world. Like I said, I kept it separate, so it's like, this is the unique block. I mean, maybe you can think about it as like item metadata being transferred or whatever, so it's not like actually the same block, but I broke a tree, I picked up a spruce log, I kept it in a separate chest until I placed it here, and this is it. And this is literally the first block that I picked up in this world. I feel like that's really important. We got like all these first blocks, like first netherite, diamond, all these minerals. And this museum is unfinished, of course, but I still have most of the items that I've done this process for. And one day it's going to be full and it's going to be amazing. I have most of them stored in these green shulker boxes here, and I'm lazy. So I just haven't gotten around to placing them here. You see, there are a lot of items here that aren't just blocks. I guess like over there, we're going to have items, and over here, we're going to have like the blocks. I'm guessing that's how it's gonna work. You can see I got like all these armor gems, all these nice little items. Somewhere in here, I got my first diamond.
You're running from motherfuckers.
Diamonds! First ones, let's go.
And also the other significance of this place, beyond this little like amogus thing that I made here, is this right here. I've had this world for 2 years. I'll be honest, I was really upset when it happened. That's my first death ever. What just happened? But the way it happened was this shrieker spawned a warden, a second warden that was following me at the time. I tunneled up over here. It knocked me off this gravel up here. It knocked me off all the way down to here where I popped the totem, and then I flew away in panic, hit a wall right here, and I died. In all that time, I've died once. That is the story of the only time I've died in this world. And I did get it on footage, so you can see that now.
That scared me. Oh, God. Time to leave. And I died.
Whenever you break a Shrieker in Minecraft, if you place it down again, it can't spawn a Warden. This block has never been broken. This is the one that spawned the Warden, and it can still spawn Wardens because I've never broken it. This is the actual block that spawned that Warden that killed me. Yep, so this place holds a lot of significance so far. Hoping once the museum's done, it'll be way better. And the last little detail is that sometimes I know that a block I have is not the first that I've held of that item, and so I'll mark it with a lantern. A regular lantern at the top here indicates that I know this is not the first one that I've held. It's just here for the collection to look cool. The orange lantern, like the regular lantern, indicates, yep, we're certain this is not it. This is not that first one. However, the blue one is, oh, this could be the first one. I don't have reason to think it is. It might be, it might not be. Who knows? I don't. Quick little detail here. I did have to terraform all this out. This was awful. I knew that like I think it was 1.19 was going to add like those armor trims, and I knew that they'd spawn in these chests here. So I found every chest, didn't open it, and just left it here. When you open a chest in Minecraft, in that instant, the loot table is generated. I didn't open them. I just boxed them in and just left them here. And then I updated the world. And then I opened another chest and got the silent armor trim. To be clear, this is there's actually 2 ancient cities here. They just happen to merge into one. Cool little detail. Doesn't affect the gameplay much. Just gives me a lot of space to work with. All right, but that's enough of the museum talk. I am going to try to go in order of the beginning of the world to where I am today. So I explained world spawn. The next thing I did was the first video, which was the iron farm and villager breeder. The first major project was this villager breeder here. So again, I was playing on a laptop, didn't have a lot of options. So I had a render distance of 10. I had no client-side mods, so this was a much rougher experience. But I brought the villagers from that village over here.
Alright, we just take this unlucky fella all the way there. This little guy's gonna see horrors beyond human comprehension.
And I made a potato farm slash villager breeder that you see today.
Make the kid. Let's go. It's just like a giraffe giving birth.
Lots of potatoes being farmed here. And we got slave labor. At least 10 villagers in there. This was my first ever major build. A big chunk of this grassland here did not exist before I came along in those early days of the world and made it.
How about we extend the platform that way, maybe, and had the villager breeder on like the peninsula?
Let me try to demonstrate. You might see yeah. So like this was a river biome. This was like my first attempt at terraforming. This is way back in the first video when I had like nothing. I had no experience with major builds. I had no, what was a block missing here? Oh no. Bricks and like copper. This industrial look. I think it turned out pretty good. And honestly, I think before I made this thing, I actually finished up this bridge here. Yeah, technically this bridge might have been the first major structure I ever made.
Wanted to be pretty far out there, really. Yeah, so it's like 80 blocks across. That's definitely enough. And we're gonna build the iron farm somewhere along this. I designed this really interesting bridge using concaves of spruce wood. Even built some stilts to hold the whole platform over there on.
Early in the Minecraft world, I always go for an iron farm. That's like one of those first projects you want to do. Get it out of the way, get yourself some nice resources.
It's Minecraft day 22. I already got an iron farm working.
It's a little confusing of the order of operations here, but I finished that before I finished this project. However, this bridge was done before that was done.
I'm starting to realize the grand scale of the things I've actually done so far. They're pretty big.
We got these turtles up here. They've been here since the first month or so of this world. In that first video, since I had like no resources, I had no Lightmatica mod, I had nothing to work with. I just freestyled this build in survival mode and it turned out great. This was like probably my best freestyle that I've ever done. I just kept building up and up and up, and eventually I reached the top, this 5th layer here, and I was like, yep, that's probably tall enough. I Googled like a website to help me make a circle, and I turned it into a dome here. Fun fact, there are 64 villagers in this entire building. Very cool. The way this works, pretty simple. You get a named zombie to scare these villagers. They'll produce an iron golem, which gets funneled in here and burns to death, you know, sends iron into this weird contraption. And again, this was me freestyling stuff, so it's not very pretty. It's not great, but it works. And it goes up this little pipe here, lands in here. And because there are so many iron golems spawned here, and you know, you can trade with villagers, get some XP or, you know, get some emeralds from selling the iron. Pretty cool. And diamond stuff, very nice. It makes a full stack of iron every minute, along with some poppies. It's very nice. over 1 iron per second on average. It's very effective. A little power thing, local output. Oh yeah, this was made with the thought process of like, oh, if I don't want it to show up here, I could actually just like make it show up in my main island where my storage was at the time. The idea is it would go down this pipe here, keep going, zoom, fly all the way down this, and it would end up in storage. But I never like followed up on that. I just didn't do that. And that is the iron farm. Oh yeah, I got a little AFK platform here. This is a little portal I got, links it to the Nether hub. Very nice. So I believe that wraps up the video 1 stuff that I did. Oh, actually, hold on. Well, the last part that I did before this stuff, the content of the second video, I had a storage system down here. So there used to be a lot of stuff here, a lot of dirt and whatever. And I broke down a bunch of hills and stuff, and I dug out this little space here. It's pretty nice. This wasn't here. All this stuff here was not here a good while after video 1. Oh, yeah, at some point, I think like the first... During Halloween, like actual real-life Halloween, Minecraft has the unique condition where mobs can spawn with jack-o'-lanterns on their head. It's pretty cool. And so I named this little guy Jack and collected him. There's like 6 more that I never bothered to collect, but this guy's really old. This guy is a 1.5 years old, I think. Yeah, he's been here a while. You can see I've also got some of these villagers still down here from where from my really early trading days of these guys. I had a big line of them down here. Right here was where the storage system was, and so that's why I had this little pipe that would lead to here with the iron. And yeah, I think that is the end of the contents of the first video, so I'm just going to keep going on to video number 2, the creeper farm. So the first thing I did for the creeper farm was like, I went over to this little island here. It was I think it was much shorter, this island, when I first got to it, and so I had to like flatten it out, and I terraformed this one too. I've still got some stuff in here. I don't think I like came back and even collected most of this stuff. A lot of terraforming. This was also the place where I broke my first tool ever. It was a diamond shovel. It was somewhere probably around, I'm gonna guess like here. Just digging, mindlessly digging, watching a video, spamming the shovel, and I broke it. While digging, I accidentally broke the only tool I've ever broken. A diamond shovel named lawnmower. Rip lawnmower. Not a huge deal there, but it was that was like the first time I ever broke a tool. Tragic, I know. And I did make another pipe, with the idea that, oh, I could just send things this way from the farm. Turns out I never invested in that. I probably never will, because there are better ways to do it. This is not it. The bridge actually came last on this one, but I have this creeper farm here. This was the point in the world where I started using Lightmatica and a couple other client-side mods, and it was really nice. It's when I actually got to use some of the tools Minecraft has to offer. They're like, you know, good for YouTube. Oh, I've still got some chests over here too. I need to actually just go through the world and find all these junk chests I've left lying around. Oh, there's one here. I first made a simple creeper farm in place of this, like where it's standing. I think it was this platform, right? This front right platform of creeper stuff that I made. I made it from like down here up here, and I had that. It was like 12 layers. I went off to the to the end, got some elytra. I'm cracked. The first thing you ever shot was the Ender Dragon, yeah. Ooh. What an adventure. Why did she jump? So it was up to here, and then I was like, oh, this farm, kind of lame, doesn't look very cool. Let's make it, I don't know, 8 times bigger. And so I did. Because of the way that things are built, only creepers can spawn here. And then you just have like an array of water buckets and dispensers that just keep shooting them out. So creepers spawn here, water pushes them out, they die in here, their gunpowder goes up. Simple as that. It's just a lot of platforms. This makes about 2 stacks of gunpowder every minute, so it's very, very effective. Zoom. And we also have a lot of redstone up here. This is the head of the creeper, where you can like operate the farm. And again, another portal to connect everything to that Nether hub. The creeper I just kind of eyeballed. I just Googled a net image of a creeper and just placed block by block in creative mode until I was like, yeah, that looks like a creeper. And then I built it in survival mode. Got little bulbs to indicate stuff. It's pretty helpful. We got all these shulker boxes full of gunpowder, so I'm rich. Yeah, the big premise of making this farm was I need fireworks, and I want to fly around because, you know, elytra and stuff. And I know that it would technically be more effective to have this whole farm deep underground, because the lower you are in the world, mobs spawn there more. But that just seemed really cringe to me. I wanted the gigantic and like really aesthetic farm, so that's what I did. I built it above ground where it's slightly less effective and still very, very big. Now, in that second video, that was the video where I died in for the first time. Very, very sad. think it was like 8 months in, because yeah, the iron farm and villager breeders took me 4 months to get through. Then this also took another 4 months. So yeah, in that video, I did a little bit of exploring. I actually got people into the world for the first time, like
/join and then space capture.
You're in.
Oh, what?
cameoing and building shacks. That happens a lot. It turns out when I have a world this big, with like all these major projects, people think it's cool, but if they don't want to do that, they don't want to make giant things. Most people, when they play Minecraft, do not play it like this, and that's okay. They just want to build a little shack, and then they get bored and leave. And I think that's a completely fine way to play. That is not what I like to do, though. So yeah, in second video, I did die in the deep dark. I was pretty upset about that, like I mentioned. This is an awful feeling. It's so far away. Yeah, the warden's overpowered. I hate this so much. But I got through the creeper. I made this little island. I think I made this pen of sheep over here. I think that's what I did. Because yeah, I needed resources to make the creeper. I think I also made this cactus farm at the time. And that closes up the segment on the second video. The next major project was getting shulkers. Video 3, we had the shulker farm, which is that thing right there. Very cool. It's over 1 million shulker shells in these chests here. And the farm makes 8 a minute, so just, do the math on that, how long I had to wait for that. I'm never running out of shulkers. Yep, shulker boxes are like considered an in-game thing. I guess somewhere between the 8-month and 1 year period in the world, I went ahead and like made the shulker farm. I got all the materials. I copied almost block for block this farm that I found online. When I did hit 1 million shulkers, I was like, you know what? I don't need this farm to be on. It just causes lag. I'm not gonna explain a ton of it, but I'll try to get the basics. We got a shulker here. It gets hit by snow golems over here. It clones itself, sends them to the other side of the portal. Inside the Nether, which I'll demonstrate real quick, they get spawned up here, where the minecart takes them into some snow. They freeze to death. They drop little shulker shells in these boxes here. And there's a lot of backup ones up here, just in case. And it also uses a chunk loader, so you can actually turn it on, like, and just run around the world, and it just works forever, no matter where you are. The shulker farm wasn't incredibly complicated. It just took a long time. The thing that really sucked was getting the shulker up there, because you have to go to the outer end cities, get it in a minecart, send it to the main end island, send it through that portal. Then it shows up at world spawn. All of that is rough already, but then consider, look at where I am. Look how far away world spawn is. It's all the way over there. And if you watch the video, you might remember the thing died over and over again. I kept moving shulkers over, but then it killed itself. Why? Why would it do this? I had taken it so far. I would bring the shulker like to the main end island, and then I had a wither free in the end. It's for some time. It kept killing the shulkers. Like and then I would get it all the way from the world spawn to here, and I had one die like within a few blocks of where it was supposed to be. Broke the platform it was suspended on to get it to move somewhere else. And then it died. Can you believe it? I crossed the universe to get it here, and it dies right there. That one hurt a lot. Eventually, I got it all the way over here. And I didn't have any gold at the time, so I was using standard rails instead of powered rails. So I had to like use a furnace minecart. Do you know how a furnace minecart works? Because I don't. No one does. No one ever uses it. You're not. It's an artifact of Minecraft. But yeah, this was a project that caused me a lot of suffering. It's done now. I have access to 8 shulkers a minute when I turn it on, but I don't even need it anymore because I have, like I said, 1 million. It's very cool. The tower was a fun thing to design and create. That was the most fun part of this. I think it gives this little magical atmosphere. And the reason I made it into a tower is because the whole farm had to be up in the air a good amount. And I was like, yeah, it's already up here. I might as well build a tower around it. But yeah, I really appreciate the way it turned out. I really like it. The only bad part was getting the shulker, and then everything else was pretty good. And it was fun. I think it was the day that I posted the third video, the shulker farm video. It was actually the 1-year anniversary. And so I'm posting this on May 19th. On the first anniversary of this Minecraft world that I've named Cashew Time. Yep, so that is 3 of our 7 videos covered. And let's get on to the next one now, which was the drill project. In the third video, I also did get a lot of beacons. That was like a nice little quality of life thing I did. Because I made a farm for wither skeletons and whatever. I'm not going to show it. It's not important. So here we have video number 4. So in video number 4, I created this gigantic mining operation thingy. This is probably the highest outputting farm I think I've ever made. What is it a farm for? Well, it's cobblestone. I hope the farm is good enough to like symbolize what it's supposed to be, because these are supposed to be drill heads right here. These 4 things here are supposed to be drills. I had to dig this hole manually because it was like the only way to get this cool look. Ever since like the first month, I had this hole I was digging just to get cobblestone and stone, and it just kept getting deeper and deeper. And eventually I was like, all right, let's like make it twice as deep and make it into something cool. The reason you can see all these torches here is because I never bothered breaking the blocks that I had torches on because it just looks so much cooler. And so you can see it's just like this gallery of little floating lights just to prove that I did mine this out all by hand, and it was awful.
Dude, it's like an Elytra death course. Holy shit.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Dude,
Yeah, this is another one of those projects that's really nice to have like world edit and Lightmatica when I'm designing it in creative mode. It's very symmetrical, which I appreciate. It's a very geometric build. Like you have so many axes of symmetry, and just look at it from above. It's perfect. Now this one it's surprisingly simple. Oh yeah, and this was like the first time I dabbled into like using bugs in Minecraft. So this is a TNT duper, and it's the first one that I've made. Since then, I've been like, yeah, I'm probably okay using these. It's, you know, most players use this. It's a little bit cheaty. You know, everyone plays Minecraft a little bit different. This is not how they intended TNT to work, but it's a commonly accepted bug, and I accept it. Oh yeah, to be clear, these leaves are waterlogged, and there's lava beside them. So cobblestone gets spawned in. TNT gets duped. It breaks the cobblestone. Cobblestone flies out down the head of the drill bit, flies down all the way down here into this little pipe, goes into this, gets sorted. Because it makes so much, I had to make a special sorting machine because hoppers weren't enough. I think it's like 36 a second. 36 cobblestone a second on average. I had to make like 4 different shulker fillers for this thing. And it sends them all the way up into this thingy here, where they are sorted, the shulker boxes, into a storage unit in this building. Again, this is one of those buildings that I freestyled. I really think it turned out great. Did not design this in creative mode, just built it from the blocks up from the ground in survival mode. And so the inside of that building is where I stored them all. It's inside these chests is over 1 million cobblestone. And will I ever need it? Probably not, but it's a nice number. And in the upstairs too, we have this storage unit. So it rapidly consumes shulkers, so I just have like a bunch of backup shulkers up here. And again, light gray, just to indicate this is cobblestone, not that advanced of a concept. And then I also, you know, just for the purpose of symmetry, just made this other building over here identically. It is empty. I'm thinking someday I'll have stone stored in here. I have not turned it on in many months because I'll probably never need to. It feels like dwarven a little bit. Got some little paths going around it too. It fills up a good amount of space while still feeling very industrial. Oh yeah, also I think this was the video I started getting bees. They have since all vanished from these hives here. I don't know where they went. They just despawned, I guess. Oh, and another cool thing is this is where I go to mine for diamonds. This is way faster to get down to. It's a quick way to get down there. It's very nice. And for me, whenever I see items that are non-renewable, as in you can't farm them, they never spawn again once you break them, I feel compelled to conserve them. And so that's what I did with all these amethyst shards up here too. Another quick detail, you might be wondering why the odd shape into the ground. That was because as I was digging, I realized there was something here that I did not want to break, and that is spider farm. Because I don't remember when I made this, but this might have been the first farm I ever made. And it was a little spider grinder. There was a spider spawner like directly beneath my base, so I turned it into a grinder. Like I said, I'm all about conservation of early things in the world. I think it was this video I made this little moss farm. It's not effective. It was just, you know, bare bones. It worked. Oh yeah, I had to make a mud farm. And another little detail, you know, in the front here we have all these sets of diamond armor. This is from when the armor trims came out for the first time, and I was like, oh, I have to find all of them, and I did. And it took a long time, but it was worth it. I got like all these dripped out armor stands here. And that marks the end, I believe, of the 4th video of everything I had in there. Now we go to the 5th video. Probably one of my more prouder builds. That thing right there. Very cool. It's a tree. This island was not here before. Fun fact right there. We had this little cherry blossom tree that I left here for reference. But this isn't just a decorative thing. So on the inside, we have a tree farm. Something you don't see very often in anyone's Minecraft world. It's very messy, but it works. Mining thing was it was either 3 months or 4 months. I can't remember. This one took 4 months. I remember that. And just for proof that, you know, the island wasn't here before. Look at that. Wow. A lot of terraforming right there. The player can like AFK and place saplings and get handed bone meal and, you know, TNT dupes and breaks the trees. Drops it in there. It gets automatically sorted into the correct shulker box based on this machine. Awful designing process. I hate that I had to make this. And it gets sorted into this super duper storage room. I haven't AFK'd the farm much, so a lot of these things just aren't very full. but it makes, I think it's like 5 to 10,000 of each wood type. Wood is probably one of the most useful things in Minecraft, and having access to all this is incredible. Yeah, TNT gets spawned from up here. I had to do a lot of wiring stuff, goofy stuff, whatever. Bone meal farms up here, because you need bone meal to run this farm to grow stuff. Not just up there, though. We also have bone meal farms coming in the side here. Yep, awful design process. I got through it, whatever. And then we have like a really pretty canopy up here. Got lots of glowstone just to make it light up. This is the first time I really dabbled in really heavy nature-ish builds, and I think it turned out great. Oh, last little detail here is there is a glass ceiling up here. Quite literally a glass ceiling on top of the world here. Let's get something straight. This was like 150,000 leaves. Do you know how to farm leaves in Minecraft? You pretty much can't. Well, there's that over there. That was, and it makes like 2,000 an hour. So I spent so many hours just spawning these cherry trees, breaking the leaves, and then placing them up there. That was a horrible experience, but you know, it was repetitive, so it didn't take a lot of thought. But I got through it. It was fine. It worked. Anyways, the point being, while I was placing all those leaves, it turns out this is a taiga biome. I didn't realize that when I was placing this. And so when you're really high up on a taiga biome, snow just falls automatically. The snow kept getting on top of the leaves, and it really slowed down everything because I'd like place a layer, and then I'd have to break snow before I could place another layer. I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm placing 10,000 glass blocks on the world height, so this doesn't snow here. And it didn't. No more snow. And then I could not be bothered to break it because it's 10,000 glass blocks. There's no tool that breaks glass really fast. So, you know, it might be here forever. It tells me how high world height is, I guess. And also, we got this, you know, this little universal nether portal. I got nether portals like all the important farms around here. That is the tree farm. So what else did I do in the fifth video? Well, I started making what I'll show you now, the Nether Hub. So boring. I needed to renovate this big time. Here we have the modern day Nether Hub. Very futuristic looking, very time consuming project. Villager breeder. We have the iron farm, the creeper farm. That doesn't go anywhere yet. And we just came out of the tree farm. And that is the Shulker farm that I showed earlier. Here we have this wonderful big coliseum of a room. Oh yeah, and this is the storage center. So again, I used creative mode to design this. It wasn't terrible, but it just took some time. This is on the roof of the Nether. You might be aware, like you can use an ender pearl to glitch through, and then you can place portals up here and whatever. That's what I did at first. But then I got more advanced, and I made this hole in the Nether, so I can fly down here and get to the actual Nether, which you're probably more used to seeing. You know, put a beacon down here just for fanciness. I think it took 3 hours for me to actually break. It was like a 5x5 by, I don't know, 8 grid of bedrock right here. I did use a totem of undying at some point because I almost killed myself doing it, but I've only died once, so still, that's awesome. Directional indicators here, north, east, south, and west. That wither skeleton farm I talked about way earlier is way back there. I am not going to bother showing it because it's not important. And that concludes our 5th video recap. Now let's move on to the 6th one, which was the Guardian Farm. And that's where I am now. This was 3 farms wrapped into one. You might notice this is underwater. That's because I had, so there used to be an ocean monument here, which is one of those things that spawns guardians. And I excavated it, you know, dug it all out, and I drained all of the water from this side to that side. This took months. I think it was 4 months for the whole project, like a lot of these do. And so this, let me fly up here so it works better. Let me just be clear. So this is like way north of like the main farms. So you stand on this platform and it farms these guardians for you. Like I said, guardians exclusively spawn in the ocean monument. And so that's why they're spawning here and they can't spawn anywhere else. This area here that I've mined out here and made into a farm used to be an ocean monument, which I've excavated and turned into this horrific killing chamber where they will always suffer forever and their loot gets all saddled up down here and gets sent to the corners where it's stored in those little chests there. The other components of this farm are first the slime farm. I wanted this to be a spawning platform where I could stand here and the honey and slime farm would go. Turns out the best spot for them is just at the edge of this stupid thing here. As fancy as this is, I did not, you know, it's not perfect. So what does a slime farm look like? Well, it's underground over here. Yep, slime spawn in here. They get funneled into the iron golems. They die. their stuff gets shot up some pipes, lands in this little storage thing here. It's also a bee farm. So in here we have another unnatural horror of bees being trapped forever, making honey and wax in their little apiaries here. I was like, this big project needs another farm. Might as well be bees, because I need honey. Also, I needed flying machines, which were helpful in draining this big thing here, this big rectangle, whatever this is. We have the wax, the honeycomb that shows up over here. Which extra shears been putting here, extra bottles been putting here. And we have all the honey bottles in here. Yeah, so I really went crazy with the futuristic design here. I tried to really get that those light green and blue colors to match the ocean. Very fancy, very futuristic, I think. And that concludes our 6th video. And now we move on to the most recent one, our 7th and final video that we're going to be covering in this review. My friends, that is the dirt farm. Here we have this horrifying contraption that you need to make and farm dirt. This is actually very complicated. It took 4 months to complete, including the mountain around it. The big idea is you sit in the farm way up here. You keep placing saplings while you're AFK, and some magic happens. Stone turns into moss, moss turns into podzol because you're growing a tree, and then the podzol gets pushed through some pistons all the way down here, where it gets blown up by a TNT duper. Very, very complicated stuff. This was Cubic Meters farm, pretty much. I just made it slightly better and, actually work. That's the more important part. And then also I had to make this little bone meal thingy here. But yeah, that's everything. Got a little Enderman down here, little friend I captured. Yeah, the dirt gets funneled up here, put into shulker boxes, and it gets stored down there. Maybe one day I'll try to go for like the 1 million mark with dirt. I don't want to, but it'd be cool to say I have a million dirt blocks. Right now, let's see, how much is this? This is probably like 50,000 maybe? Very tough to build. What you might find more entertaining is the mountain that I built out of dirt. Yep, just went into creative mode, built it using world edit, then built it in here using actual stuff. Because I got this pretty little axolotl pond down here. That was kind of fun to make. This actually, I built this lake over a village, which I only realized once I started building the lake. I was like, oh, there used to be a village here. That's pretty fun. But those villagers, they're long gone. I wouldn't worry about them. They're not alive to tell the tale. And on top of this, we have Omni-Man. There was no good reason to put this here other than I really like the show Invincible. It's also like a celebration of me, because I have my skin as Omni-Man. And it's like, it's almost a part of my identity now. It's kind of me up here. Wow. Hey, post-tour Muskie here. I forgot something. I forgot to show the villagers that I actually have read and traded with over here. So I have access to every single enchantment book that they actually sell. And they also serve as my glass farm in a way. I just give them emeralds, they give me glass. It's a good trade deal. There's like 40-ish of them here, I think, something like that. But more importantly, I wanted to talk about the map that I have, exploring. So that's us, that's here. This is all the space I've explored with maps. You can also see it from the mini-map here where I have lots and lots of waypoints as well using the Zyro mini-map and world map mod. Yeah, but we got this this devilish shape here. Look at that. It's like an ice devil. Pretty cool. Each of these maps here folded into an iron frame is about a 2,000 by a 2,000 block region. So the inner two are the original chunks. The 1.18 when I first started the world. And then there's a ring around that. So think of like 2 by 2 in the middle. And then a frame of max size maps around that in 1.19. The rest are 1.20, I'm pretty sure, which I did a lot of exploring around it. At some point, I used a website to use the seed to find biomes, because like you may notice there is a glaring issue with this map, and it's that there's no deserts. For the longest time, I think it was like at least 6 months in until I actually found a desert. Like there was one over there, but it didn't count as a desert. It was like 5 blocks of a desert. There was no sand. It was a place I could walk on where it was like, hey, you're in a desert. And I was like, no, I'm not. So what I did is I just plugged the seed into Chunkbase, the website used for finding structures, until I found a desert. And I was like, all right, fine, we're going up there. The reason I do this is I don't want the world size to be massive. A little bit on the cheating side. I did the same thing to find the new features like the trail ruins in the previous update, 1.20. And these chunks, I assume, are going to be explored in 1.21. I might just have to find a trial chamber using that same website. But, I feel a little bad about it because it is kind of cheating, but it does save a lot of storage space, which I'm proud of. I don't have to explore thousands of maps to find a single desert. I mean, When you think about that, think about the occurrence rate of deserts in a Minecraft world. It's not that rare. Look at how much space there is no desert. These are, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's like a 12,000 by 12,000 block region where there's just apparently no deserts. The odds of that are like astronomical. But yeah, new chunks coming soon to 1.21 that where I will be finding the trial chamber. It's going to be awesome. Oh yeah, I do have some final notes real quick. There is a parrot here that is this is the first animal ever tamed in the world. And I got it all the way back in my first 3 or 4 months of the world that I got this parrot. I never named it. You know, if you got any names for him, just be sure to tell me and I'll consider it.
Try it again. There we go. Come on, buddy, let's go home.
And what I believe is the second ever tamed animal in the world is this dog here. This is Mason's dog. You've probably seen by this point. If you've watched any video, you've seen Mason reacting to stuff or just participating in small ways. This is his dog that he tamed again in like that first 6 months. He never bothered to come back from because I like, you know, like a lot of the people in the world, you know, you come in, you build a shack, you leave. It's the Minecraft cycle. And so this dog is left very sad with no owner. It's tragic, I know. As long as it's been, this is the end of the tour. It's been a wonderful journey to make this 2-year world. I got a long list of farms for the future. Thank you so much for taking the time to look at the big progress I've made, and I hope you've all enjoyed this video. It's been 2 years, made a lot of cool things. I'm gonna make more. Stay tuned, you know, stay subscribed, keep your notifications on, like the video, comment what you want to see next, and here's to another 2 years. Goodbye.